Hey everyone, this is Jim Rowan here with AI from the Front Lines. I'm with Denise, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the impacts that we're seeing between AI and power. And so one of the things I talk to our clients about is that we just don't have enough power for all of our AI activities. Yeah. You're deep in this space. So what's your role? How is this working? Tell me about it.
Yeah. So Denise Lee, I'm a vice president over at Cisco. And for the last 4 years plus, the title has been Engineering Sustainability.
Okay.
The Engineering Sustainability Office across Cisco's portfolio. So you can imagine, it was actually a savvy name to cover a lot of the things that we couldn't talk about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So even before AI exploded, we were looking at power in a very different way. Most recently, we've sort of come out and evolved. So the new title is now Energy Networking Systems.
Wow. Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah. So explain to me how that's changed.
Yeah. So if you think about the powers AI is putting on the grid and electricity is centuries old.
Yes.
We're literally operating in the 21st century on things that were built in the 19th century.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if you remember, just a little history lesson. Remember when Tesla and Edison were arguing between AC and DC power?
Yeah.
And Edison was always, there's no need for AC power. Why would you need AC power?
Yeah.
So once upon a time, like 20 plus years ago, Cisco came out with something called Power over Ethernet.
Okay.
Right? 4 twisted pair of copper cables copper wire that could transmit data, like what we know today. So we spent decades fine-tuning secure networking to connect everything around the world.
And I remember these from these at home in my cameras, Power over Ethernet. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect. Great. Well, the limits of PoE is it only goes up to 100 watts.
Yep.
And so 4 years ago, I had the opportunity. I walked into one of our Cisco labs with one of our most senior engineering fellows, Joel Gorgon. And he's like, hey, would you like to touch 380 volt DC?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not planning on dying today, so thanks, but maybe after you, right? Yeah. He was so excited. So he tells me about this technology. He tells me the history of what they were solving for and why.
Yeah.
And I touched 380 volt DC.
Okay.
I did not die. I am still here. I didn't take my...
Yes.
Right. This is here.
Yeah.
Little tiny bite, like a 9-volt battery. And, fast forward.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get this to market for years now.
Okay.
And so as of 2023,
it
got put in the National Electrical Code.
Okay.
It's a new technology, different power distribution called fault managed power.
Okay.
That's what it is in the engineering codes and standards.
Okay, great. So I'm not an engineer, so this is super helpful.
Yeah, so don't worry about fault managed power, FMP.
FMP.
Okay, so
we love a good TLA. It's always good to have another acronym to use.
Right? Yes. Okay. In your alphabet soup, you can now add fault managed power. So I have been carrying this cable around in my purse for
not
3 years now.
A cable. Okay.
Not a phone, but this cable.
Got it.
And so what's fascinating is we can now transmit this particular cable can do 600 watts per twisted pair.
Okay.
Okay. There are 8 twisted pair on this.
Yep.
There are other versions out there that can do 1,000 watts per twisted pair.
Yeah.
This one twisted pair is 10 times that of the PoE that you were using for your
home network. Right. Okay, got it.
Here's the coolest part.
Yep.
It's touch safe.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
super
up
safe.
to 450 volt.
Yeah.
All the things that you see of danger.
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you walked into a data center?
I've seen one maybe in 5 months.
Okay. So you walk in, it's loud.
Well, some of these are quiet. The new ones are pretty quiet.
They're pretty quiet.
Right now they're cooling it. Yes.
Okay, so if it's liquid cooled, it might be quieter.
Yes. I didn't have ear protection, which is the first time I've been in a data center without ear protection. So yes.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Lots of signs that say danger.
Danger everywhere.
High voltage, right? Depending on where you're standing, especially if there are still hot and cold aisles in some of it. So if you're in a brand new data center that is 100% liquid cooled, not a lot of those exist, then you might not need ear protection.
Okay.
If you are in an older data center, you're grabbing earplugs.
Yes, exactly.
You're looking at the danger signs. You're seeing wires and cables everywhere.
Yeah.
So what's fascinating about the sustainability work that we've done as a company, as an industry, as a society, is the understanding of how much power data centers use.
Yeah.
So now once AI exploded, it sort of tipped the scale.
Okay.
Right? And this technology, this power distribution, it is not only safe, it's very easy to deploy because you don't need the steel conduit. You don't need the copper bus bars in data centers.
Got it.
Right? So there's a ton of material and precious metals that also take a lot of resources.
Also very expensive, yes.
Right, that are no longer needed with this technology.
Okay.
And it's not just for data centers, right? It can be in buildings, manufacturing sites. We have a lot of robots and things coming around.
Yeah.
Here's another kicker. Do you have solar at home?
I do not. I'm checking it out though. So yes.
Okay, so if anyone has solar at home, you'll know that on every solar panel you need an inverter,
Yes.
right? Most people don't realize how much wasted energy there is in all of our systems today,
Tons of wasted energy everywhere.
right?
Yeah.
But if Edison had his way and it was DC all the way through,
Yes.
it's far more efficient,
Got it.
okay?
Yep.
So this is DC native. Solar is DC native. Battery energy storage systems, DC native.
Yeah.
So imagine this concept of, DC microgrids and all of these
Yeah.
things going backup power, on-site generation, distributed energy systems. There's all these, new terms of art
Yeah.
that need a better way.
Got it.
You need power distribution to be efficient,
Yeah.
safe,
Yep.
and fast to deploy.
Yep.
Low cost, efficient. It's like all the great things of
That's awesome.
new technology.
So zooming out for an enterprise CIO, they're trying to figure out this technology is coming together. How do they connect the dots with the work that you're doing here? These questions they should be asking their data center providers, their infrastructure leaders. How do they engage with us?
Yes, it's a great question. And like AI, it's challenging all of our old legacy systems.
Yeah, sure. Maybe
Right?
they're the wrong people to ask. Yeah.
Right. So our traditional user and buyer sits somewhere in the network ops
Okay.
IT world.
Right.
And so I think what we're starting to see is this confluence of that IT and the OT environment, right? We're
Yeah.
going to need more sensors everywhere.
Yep.
You're going to want to distribute power in a smart way.
Yep.
You're going to want to build facilities that are as eco-efficient and responsible as possible.
Yeah, this is great.
We calculated in like a legacy data center, like a 5 megawatt data center
Yeah.
that was air cooled.
Okay.
65% of the energy going into the building,
Yeah. Just-
non-useful power,
Just wasted.
wasted.
Wow. That's amazing.
65%. Now,
Yeah.
a majority of that, of course, is cooling, but you have to power the cooling.
Yeah.
So if you move to direct-to-chip
Yep.
liquid cooling, and you move to this new technology around fault-managed
Yeah.
power DC, because you lose power every time you do a conversion, AC/DC, right? We estimate that you could probably get somewhere between 2 and 3 times the amount of compute
Yeah.
for the
So you're
same
solving
power.
this huge problem that we have with getting enough tokens generated efficiently. That's amazing. That's
without
awesome.
new generation.
Yeah, a new generation.
Yes, exactly.
So do data centers need to be retrofitted with this
They
technology?
can be.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
over
it.
time they can be. Now, the exciting part is this is still early days.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is brand new technology. These things take time to go out through the standard bodies and be
Yeah.
adopted. But the fact that something safe, easy to deploy, and very efficient
Yes.
exists, the planning stages, I would urge everyone to think about that in your planning process.
Yeah.
You're going to build a new data center, you're going to retrofit a building, an office building. That doesn't happen overnight, right? The planning cycles are longer. It's, actually, let's rethink how we're going to design a conference room.
Yes.
Today, if you were to build a brand new building, would you put telephone lines in that building?
Yeah, I don't think so.
But a lot of our old buildings don't have Ethernet in them because
Right.
they're over 40 years old.
Right.
So you would put Ethernet in your
Right.
building,
Yes.
right? You'd put internet in your building in the same way that if for a data center, no more raised floors.
Yeah.
You wouldn't litter your roof with chillers,
Yeah,
right?
it's awesome.
You would go liquid cooled.
Yeah.
So there are things like that
Okay.
that I think we're seeing on the horizon that are pretty exciting.
Well, and for me, I think it sort of clicks for the ROI for AI conversation. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thanks so much for sharing the stories. Really appreciate
Absolutely, my pleasure.
it. All right. Thanks.